Hey everybody, it's Chris again. This video is going to cover site contents. It's good to remember that's where all your content is located. And it's a fast way for you to get to libraries, lists, pages, things like that. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time in the site contents area of your site. We'll start off by being at the home page here. We're going to go to the gear and we're going to select site contents. A fair amount of end users know what site contents is, but a lot of them don't. They might just look for the link on a page telling them to go look for site contents. Or sometimes people will put the link to site contents up in their navigation here. For now, we just want the owner to know that anywhere you're in SharePoint, if you hit your settings gear here, site contents is what I just clicked on. So let's look at this for a second. Functionality wise for site contents, it's trying to show you the name type of every document library that's on your site, as well as every list that's on your site, in addition to the pages library, which technically is a library. It's a different type of a library than a document library. These document libraries are kind of built to hold Word docs, PowerPoint, general back office work types of documents. Lists, on the other hand, are there for things like contact lists, or maybe you wanted to import an Excel spreadsheet, start managing it via SharePoint. You'd be using a list to do that. Other things could be project tracking lists, where you can go ahead and have a list that includes additional columns you can add, such as assigned to, status, things like that, notes that relate to a task. That would be using a list. Another type of list in SharePoint is known as an events list. Think of it as a calendar. That's the new term. That's why the icon looks like a little calendar there. This is a pretty powerful calendar. It can tabular list calendar dates, can use the monthly calendar, things like that. But the important part is when you use that events list, which is a calendar, you also get the ability to surface parts of your calendar under your control. Let's say I just want the most current 10 days worth of events that are happening in the calendar. We can use a web part on the page to control what displays to the user. Let's say the landing page has a web part in it, which is called the events web part, to surface certain high focus calendar items. So that's again what it is, just a type of list. And then the pages library inside pages is where your SharePoint pages are located. That's where you can access them, provide permissions access, do lots of things with them, because your end users experience SharePoint through the pages that are displayed in their browser. Anyway, so we're in site contents. Back in the day, people would put sub-sites into their SharePoint sites. Those days are kind of going away. In the old classic sites, people might have one site, let's just say User Insights, and then they would build a site below it called a sub-site. That's what's known as a hierarchical topology for SharePoint, meaning you've got a top-level site with sub-sites underneath it. In the flatter architecture these days with modern, we don't do a sub-site. We simply just make another site collection and then associate that with one or more sites. That'll be coming up in future videos too. So let's go back to contents. This is where I can take a look at a document library. I can open it up from here, see what's in it, but I'm also able to manage that document library, because you can see when I'm in a library, the library settings option is here for setting permissions and also kind of controlling the configuration of the library. Another icon to keep an eye out for is this icon here. It's a shortcut to all the other libraries. So right now I have two libraries really. A documents library that we're looking at, but also a second library I use to store videos. So that's a nice way to shortcut into another library. So we'll go there. And see, it just brings up that other library here. If I wanted to go back to that library, I can use that icon there. Just go back to it. So there's a document library. We're going to go back home, come into site contents one more time, wait for the gear, and we'll click that, and again selecting site contents. Now this next part of the video, before we wrap up, we won't get too detailed, but what I normally do is if I have a person that says, hey, I have a document library and I need to lock down the permissions on it, what I'll tend to do is I'll go to this document library, but I want to, instead of opening it, I'm going to look for these actions that I have available to me right while I'm in site contents. I'm going to open this up, and I can delete the document library, get some more details about it, or go to the settings, which would be the same as if I'd went to the settings from the gear. So why would I want to get quickly to the settings for this document library? Well, maybe I want to go to the settings so that I can play with the permissions. So I might want to lock this library down. It's currently inheriting from the parent. Anybody who can hit the site can hit the library. However, I could stop inheriting permissions and make my users list of people that can access the library a little more exclusive. If I did stop inheriting, it's going to give me a message here. And then you'll notice the library now has unique permissions. I can start making some changes here, right? I could remove permissions for the members just for this library, not the whole site. If I decided I want to inherit from the parent again, I can go back to delete the user permissions. We'll get another message. And on the refresh, now it's inheriting its permissions again. So let's go back, home. And we're going to go into the site contents one more time. We're going to look at the pages library. So the site pages library has 2 pages in it. I can open it up, and I have a home page as well as a topic home. If I take a look here, my most recent is this Monday, 8:06 p.m. of updating. So this is the topic home that I might want to look at. And in this example, I have a page selected. If I click the 3 dots here, I'm going to get a longer list. These are all the types of things I can apply or use that relate to this particular page in SharePoint. For instance, if I wanted to lock this page down so that only 1 or 2 people that are site owners on the site or designers could have access to the page to do editing on it, in other words, putting web parts in and formatting the page, I can click on this Manage Access. We'll get deeper into this in future videos, but I'll just click on it for now to show you. So I want to manage the content. Now the trick here is, in Modern, I like to click the 3 dots that are on the Manage Access panel and go to Advanced Settings. It's going to look a little more familiar to you, that classic permissions, but it is relating to just the document, in this case the page we're working with. Now right now, since I'm inheriting from the parent, I can see that there's nobody who's a member who has access. No visitors have access. And the owner, being me, has access. If I had a partner working on these pages that are in the library, this particular page, I could add that person to the group. And then they would show up with their name here. Bottom line here is making sure that the pages on your site have some sort of control so that they don't accidentally get edited by somebody who really shouldn't be editing a page. An average user, if they had access, there would be an edit button on the page. And in cases like that, they might just click it just to out of curiosity and realize they've put the page into edit mode. So the bottom line, protect who is allowed to edit your pages. All right, get ready to finish up here. We're going to get the gear. And when that gear comes up, we're going to go into site content one last time for this video to point out a couple of basics. We talked about what's in the library, what content is in the site, either libraries, lists, or your pages. From here, I can also create new lists, new pages, or new libraries. I won't get into the app too much until further videos. So that's one piece of functionality here. I don't expect to see subsites, but it's always good to know that that link is there so you can check. I also can look at the recycle bin. When you delete something in SharePoint, a list item, a list, a library item, or a page, it puts it in a recycle bin that stays in there for about 30 days. And then if it's still sitting in there, it'll be transferred to what we call a secondary recycle bin. And then that's going to give you about a total of 90 days to go in and recover something if you needed to put it back in your site. In this example here, I have a list item called sample URL, sample video URL. This is in the recycle bin. If I wanted to recover this, just like I might want to recover a Word document or a spreadsheet that might be in the recycle bin, I select it, and you'll notice when I select it, my options are to delete it, which means get rid of it totally, remove it from the recycle bin. If you do that, you won't have access to that file again, or in this case, this list item. Or you can restore it, put it back in its original location that it was in the site before it was deleted. So for now, we'll just point that out, not take any quick actions. And that's going to finish up this video. This is about site contents. Normally that comes under our content organization and management category. It's a good place for site owners to, one, know how to get to, two, how to use it. As you can see, that was a quick way for me to get into my site contents, my site pages library, select one of my pages, and then see what options were available for me, such as locking it down, managing its access, and a whole bunch of other things you saw on that drop down that we'll get into in future videos also. That's it. Thanks a lot.